Crimson Peak. Why did I even want to watch this movie? I think it was just because it looked visually interesting. I know about Guillermo del Toro and his sort of, the practical effects and how he films things. It's gorgeous, and I thought I'm gonna give this a try. I wasn't necessarily interested in the story or anything. I didn't even remember the trailer that well. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to see it and experience it, and it ended up being crap. I'm sorry. Like, I hate being mean about movies because I know that it takes a lot of effort and energy and passion to make them, but this was just. It was like another Alice in Wonderland. There was nothing practical about it, and it was all like a big CG goof fest. I felt like I was watching Maleficent again. And I just saw the other day that they're making Alice in Wonderland 2. Like, why? Did anybody like that movie? It made a ton of money. Oh my god, it made so much money. And now a second one is getting made, and it's crap. Like, the first one was crap, and we just keep getting, like, this CG, like, vomit on screen. And it's like, yes, I know it takes so much time and it takes so much effort and energy to make these gorgeous animations, but I know you can do it. It's 2015, almost 2016 now. I know you can do it. Give me a practical set, give me something real. This was just way too goofy, and I thought he did practical effects and practical monsters, and the monsters that he does are really great. This was just a bunch of CG demons. I mean, it looked like one of the ghosts in the house looked like that freaking stupid ass demon from Insidious. And Insidious fucking sucked, by the way. And it looked like the demon from Insidious and just like a woman. Like, that's it. It was a woman instead of a man, and that's it. What's the point in that? The story was just ridiculously predictable. I called it. Like, I called the twist and I called all the twists. I don't know if you're supposed to. I don't know if you're supposed to know the ominous secrets and mysteries. It's basically about Mia Wasikowska, which makes it even harder for me to like not think about Alice in Wonderland, because she is Alice in Wonderland. Obviously, she's the actress, and she gets married to Tom Hiddleston, whose character was just like he was such a fucking annoying character. He was supposed to be like sort of like this mysterious guy that at first she's like in love with, and then you find out that he's actually evil. That's the whole story in the movie. He's actually evil. He lives at Crimson Peak with his sister, and she moves in with them. His sister, played by Jessica Chastain, who was lovely. She was great. She was so good at playing crazy. And I just kept looking at her. She was wearing, she had the black hair and, these big, long, black dresses. And I'm like, she can play the next Maleficent. Not that there should ever be another Maleficent movie or another Sleeping Beauty movie, but, she could be it. Oh my god, if they ever make, a good theatrical adaptation or anything, and a Broadway something show, get her. Because she, there was a shot with her, profile, and I was like, she looks evil. She looks like Maleficent. She looked great. And that's about it, because she was the only good part in this movie. Freaking Jax from Sons of Anarchy is in this, and he looked ridiculous. He played an optometrist. I'm like, who the fuck in their right mind would buy that he's an optometrist? And, it was just the same bullshit story, and it reminded me so much of that movie that I actually love, and I cannot remember the name of, but I love it, regardless, with Catherine Zeta-Jones when they were in the house on the hill. Isn't it called The Haunting? No, it's something, Haunted House on a Hill. That makes a good title. Yeah, she was there with a group of people with a professor, and he was doing research on sleep. And then they find out that the guy that owned the house, he would enslave children to work in his factory or something like that, and they found like the bones in the like fireplace. I love that movie. It reminded me so much of that. But that movie had like an actual real, I don't know if they filmed it in a real mansion, but it looked like a real mansion, and they had practical sets, and the freaking CG looked awful in that movie. It was the 90s, I'll give it a pass. And this was just like it, but it's like, we can do better. And this wasn't better. I'd rather watch the like campy, cartoony 90s movie than this. This was just CG, And the story is the same as always. They're just crazy people. And they're obviously going to do something to her. And the house is obviously haunted. And I mean, she gets to this like huge mansion. And she walks in. And it's freaking snowing inside. And she looks up. And it's like, there's a huge hole on the roof. This house is falling apart. Who in their right mind would stay in that fucking house? It's sinking. It's literally sinking to the ground. She is denied access to a bunch of sections of the house. She's denied access to go to the basement. The freaking elevator lights don't work because it gets damp. And then, she turns on the water in the bathtub, and it's like red water comes in because the house is built on top of clay. Who builds houses on top of clay hills? And oh, by the way, when it snows and it's winter, the snow turns red, and that's why it's called Crimson Peak, not Crimson Hill, whatever, Crimson Peak, because it looks like blood. I don't know, it was just very silly. Everything about it was very silly, but it wasn't silly enough for it to be a good time, and it wasn't serious enough for it to be a horror movie, or at least like a mystery. It could have been, I don't know, as good as that movie with Nicole Kidman that I really like, The Others, is it called? I really like that movie when she's in the house and there's ghosts. It could have been something really good. Visually there were some really interesting sets, but even the practical sets looked CG. Even like the insides of the mansion, they were clearly like these were real sets. They looked CG, and that was so bizarre, and it didn't feel like she was walking through a real place. And maybe that's the point, to make you feel like, oh, everything here is crazy and wacky, and everything here is sort of imagination, and everything here is fucked up. But it just looked bizarre. Everything looked like it was CG. There was nothing real about it. And she was an awful character, by the way. She was so boring. And then, it starts off with her being all fucking independent, like, I don't want to fall in love. I can take care of myself, and blah blah blah. And it's like, first idiot that comes around and it's like, I think your writing is fantastic. And she's like, yes, I'll marry you. Like, give me a break. If you want to be independent, be independent. If you wanted to marry an asshole, be an asshole. Like, make up your mind. You can't just create a backstory for a character and then immediately like throw it away for the sake of plot. Just don't include that. They could have included, like, her backstory could have been not, I don't want a man, but I hope I fall in love someday. And then bam, she falls in love. That actually makes logical sense, doesn't it? Not, I want to write and I don't want a man, and then immediately get with the guy. And, it's the typical freaking Charlie Hunnam is in love with her, clearly, and she never gave him the time of day, because, she doesn't want to get married, but then she does immediately, so that's that. And it's so long, it's like 2 hours, and what's the point when you know what's happening? I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's like, she gets to this house, and she sees a ghost, and I'm like, well, I know who that ghost is, and, a comment was made at the beginning, well, not the beginning, but a comment is made, sort of like, after she meets him, and I'm like, well, I know what his story is. And then I saw his sister, and I was like, well, I know what her story is. And then her father is not okay with her being with this guy, so, he gets him researched, and it's like a big mystery of what did he find. And he's like looking at a paper and reading a letter, and I'm like, I totally know what's on that letter. Like, what the fuck? And I totally called it. So it wasn't interesting to me at all. It was just like, she was like researching, like trying to figure out like different sections of the house and whatever. And she clearly knows that this family is dysfunctional, is like not okay. Like, her husband is fucking crazy. And he wasn't even like a good crazy. He didn't even commit. He didn't even commit to being an evil asshole. He committed to being a fucking pussy. That's what he was. And the sister was the one that actually, did shit. And, she was the one that actually took initiative in being crazy. He was just sort of there. He was the brother that sort of just existed. And, yeah, it was just not good. And it's not like I hated it as I was watching it. It kept me mildly entertained. I was doing my homework on the side, and that's what I was doing. So I didn't feel like it was a waste of time, because I was actually doing something productive, like my homework. And it was mildly entertaining, but I will not sit there and watch this movie for 2 hours and, pretend like I'm interested, because I wasn't. There was no mystery to it. There was no magic to it, there was no, like, atmosphere to it at all. It was just, like, a big CG goof fest, and the jump scares were so unnecessary. Why do you need a jump scare in this type of movie? Like, who's it for? It wasn't scary at all. It was just, like, boom. And, a loud noise, as always, because apparently loud noises are horror nowadays. And this movie is just like Alice in Wonderland with a haunted house on a hill. And it's like, the minute you walk in, this house is falling apart, like, and he's trying to pretend like, this is our house, and, we're doing well, and, we're gonna reopen the mines. And I'm like, the clay mines? Like, really? Dude, it's obviously not working out if it's snowing inside your house. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I didn't like her character. I didn't like... And she, the first time she sees a ghost, you would think she would be like, oh, shit, there's a ghost. This house is haunted. She sort of just stands there. It's like a ghost with no flesh, like, materializes itself from under the floor and starts crawling towards her, and it has like a giant knife in its head, and she's just like, oh. And she like sort of lightly jogs around and down the, she takes the elevator because apparently she can't take the stairs. So she like takes the elevator and she's like, oh my god, I saw a ghost. Oh, and she always had like a headache, and she was always like on the chair like, oh, I have a headache. No. She saw a ghost multiple times and she was just like, yeah, and it took her like way too long to figure out what was going on. I figured it out right away. And come on, like, she was not a good character, he was not a good character, and even the sister was the best part, and she was fucking crazy. So what does that say? She was like over the top crazy, like caricature crazy, and that was the only good part in it. I was so disappointed. And it's not like I expected something amazing or anything. I wasn't expecting to be blown away, but I was expected to be into it. I was expected to be presented a nice mystery, what I was into. Like, I don't know, I wanted to be into this story. I wanted to, like, investigate and figure out what the mystery behind the house is, and, maybe what happened. And it's like, I really found out, like, oh, this is what happened. Like, yeah, of course. And, the big reveal at the end, and it's like, yeah, I know, like, what the fuck. So, like, it's just so cliched, like, I do love you for real, but no, you lied to me. And it's like, no, I do love you for real. And the sister's like, no, he's mine. He can't leave me. We're brother and sister, and we have to be together forever. Yeah, that's about it. Like, that's the whole summary of the movie. Like, don't watch it. I just did you a favor.
Ghosts are real. This much I know.
What do you be buying?
Take a little walk to the edge of town, go across
This is my sister.
There are parts of the house that are unsafe.
Secrets lie in the butterflies in the hummingbirds, and you know you're never coming.
I can imagine the two of you in here as children.
We were not allowed in here as children. We were confined to the nursery, in the attic.
On a gathering storm comes a tall handsome man with a red riding.
In your own best interest, proceed with caution.
Has anyone died in this house? Specific deaths, violent deaths. I have to leave.
I'm here to take you away.
There's nowhere else to go. This is your home now.
Beware of crimson teeth.